I don't know if I'm too late in the game of sharing what are my goals for the year, especially looking at my financial goals, because I've been watching a lot of content that started in December where people were sharing what are their goals, what are they going to be working on in 2025. And as much as I wanted to create that type of a content and post it earlier on in the year, and when I say earlier on in the year, like beginning of the year, but my body just said, Sikatele, we are tired and we need to rest. And I felt like I did a lot, guys. December, I did a lot. November, December were very busy months for me. But also in terms of content creation, it was very busy for me. Before I went home, I made sure that I batch create content. And so this video that I'm filming right now, this video that you're watching right now, it is the first video that I filmed in the year 2025. The last video that I posted, which was beginning of this year, the one about the vision board, I created that before I went home because I was batch filming and I knew that I'm going to be gone for a while and I just wanted to make sure that I've got some content. So I took a break. I honestly allowed myself to rest. And I also, when it comes to my goal setting, I also decided that I do not want to rush the process. I actually want to take time and think about the things that I want to work on in 2025. Think about my financial goals, look at my budget for the entire year and see what would be possible and what is not going to be possible. And so I didn't want to rush to create this video and post it because some of my goals, some of the things I was still changing my mind on. And that is why I'm so glad that I did not rush myself to creating the video just for the sake of posting it when I know very well that I'm not ready. So I'm ready now. I'm ready now to share with you what are my financial goals for 2025. And I'm going to take you guys through my strategy as to how do I plan for these before I even get to goal setting. So let us get into it. So welcome to everyone who is new here. My name is Uchenifah Nxumalo. If you like my content and you feel inspired, you feel like, you know what, this is the channel that will help you succeed financially, please make sure that you click that red subscribe button on the bottom and join us. Guys, I can officially say that we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers on this channel. Like, sana. I'm baffled. At the same time, I'm grateful. I'm grateful at the level of growth that I've seen in this channel in just the past few months, actually just last year, 2024, the way that this channel has grown. And now I can say that we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. It is amazing. It is amazing. So please join us if you are not subscribed as yet. And also don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoy my content, because it does help for YouTube to push my videos for more people to see. So with that being said, let's get into my 2025 goals, financial goals per se. We're going to first look at what is my strategy that I adopt when I'm setting my financial goals. And also what are my goals then, you know, and then we are also going to be doing other things just to close off this video. So those are the things that I want us to look at. Let us look into what is my strategy. So my strategy is that I sit down first and I set my budget. Now, normally I will not just set my budget like in my budgeting journal right here. Thank you to everyone that has purchased themselves this journal. I've got orders that need to go out today. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for the support and the level of love that I've gotten from this journal, especially this issue. Like, the reviews have been really good. So what I'll do is I'll sit down in my book like this. Actually, you can see there, in some of my pictures, like I would do a budget for like 3 to 4 months, or I'll even push it to 6 months, where I'll sit down and look at my possible income, my savings that I want to put away, my expenses, my debts, you know. I'll just write everything up from January up until at least April or May. And that way I do it so that I get a sense of my income and get a sense of what I can do with that possible income. Because I've got a full-time job, my income is quite standard. It changes beginning of the year because we know with medical aid it likes to go up beginning of the year and so forth. So I look at January and then I plan for the next few months just to see how are my finances going to be looking in the next few months and possibly the rest of the year. And then from there I then say, okay, what is it that I want to work on based on what I have in terms of my budget, in terms of money that is like disposable that I can allocate on other things. So then I would say, okay, these are the things that I want to work on. Now looking at my income, how much would I want to work on that? Sometimes I would also think of my goals first and then write the amounts, but then when I'm doing my budget, I will look at, is it possible for me to be able to achieve that thing or not? So this helps me to be able to tick more goals in the year and also achieve a lot of my financial goals, because I actually take my time to apply my mind and be realistic and make sure that this is actually measurable and make sure that this is practical as much as possible. So I will, once I've done my budget, once I've looked at what is my income going to be looking like for the next 6 months and how are my expenses going to be looking like, and then I'll start looking at, okay, how much money do I have disposable that I can allocate towards these other things. So this year there's going to be some changes that are going to be coming in my life, which I'm going to share on the video that you're going to watch next, because I've been vlogging since this morning. So I'm going to take you guys through some of my updates or things that are going to be happening this year. Not a lot, but not a lot that I want to share, because I don't know what the rest of the year is going to look like. But I do know that this month is going to be some changes that are going to be happening in my life, and that also affects my finances. So when I was doing my budget, I was taking into consideration that part. That is my first approach to setting my financial goals. I don't just set goals. I sit down first and I budget for at least 4 to 6 months. I'm actually gonna try and find something that I can reference for you. See there, that is what I would do. I'll just write different lines, and then I'll say January, February, March, April. I try to make sure that at least it's 4 months, and then I would look at my income, my savings, my expenses, and then this way I know that, okay, if I say that I want to work towards something, I know that financially it is possible. Now that we've got that out of the way, let us get into my goals. As much as I've got my goals for 2025, but when it comes to my approach to how I'm going to work towards these things, I am going to be breaking them down per quarter. If you do know that on the financial journal, which is the Evercent financial journal, we do not have annual goals. We do not have a page for annual goals, but rather we've got page for quarterly goals. So I have my goals here on this book, and I'm going to be transferring them towards my journal, my normal journal that I'm going to be using for journaling this year and beyond, and also manifesting. And then I'm going to then take those. I've already looked at how is it that I'm going to be breaking this down per quarter. That means that from January to March, I'm going to be working on just 2 things in those months. And then from the second quarter, I'm going to be working on 2 things that month, that quarter, and so forth and so forth. This way, I found that it worked for me last year. The 12-week year book, it is basically that approach that I'm following. I feel like this is a bit high. Do this a little bit. That's better. Okay, that's better, because you guys were on my face. You were on my face, So with that being said, now that you've got an understanding of that, let us look at what is it that I want to work on this year. Okay, so I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've got 5 things that I want to work on this year. There are other things. There's a 6 goal that I want. There's a 6 item that I want to work on. But I asked myself that, I don't want to put this under my goals here, but rather I'm going to put that under my journal, that this is something that I would like to do. And basically, what is that, guys? So that I don't speak in riddles or as if I'm trying to hide something. I would love to change the roofing at home. Now, when I did renovations a few years ago, when I took out that debt from Capitec and I did renovations at home, I got one of the worst builders ever, like in terms of, skill. He is good at other things, but then one thing I learned during that process is that no one is good at everything. No one is. When the moment says someone, I can do everything, be careful there. So I got that guy, and he did the renovations at home, and he also did the entire roof. But that roof from that same year started leaking, and it's been leaking, and it's been getting worse and worse. It's currently very, very bad right now, and it's something that bothers me a lot. And it's something that I really, really want to work on. But when I look at my finances and I look at my budget for each and every month and the next coming months, I'm realizing that the things that I want to work on, and that on top of that, it's just not going to be possible. it's not that it's not going to be possible. With what I'm working with right now, it's not going to happen. So as much as I want to do that, but I'm trusting that, you know what, the resources are going to come. And as I get the extra resources, from the side gigs, from the brand collaboration, and I'm praying that I get, more brand collaborations this year. Yeah, that way I can then allocate money to be able to do the roof at home. Now, for me to do the whole roof at home, I'm going to need a minimum of 50,000, not below that, but more than that. And for me to get there, if I can get at least 3 brand collaborations this year, that would allow me to do that. Even 2 brand collaborations this year, like in the first few months of the year, because I would like to change the roof during winter time. Then I'm going to take that money, I'm going to be saving it for that purpose of just being able to do the roof at home. So I want to get that out of the way. But when it comes to my goals, I'm not going to include that, because looking at my goals practically, it's just not going to happen. But because I know that I am creating content and I don't rely on just one source of income, I know that it is possible, but I don't want to put it under my goals, because as I progress in the months and I see that it's not happening, or I'm not coming close to this amount, I'm going to start feeling bad. So I'm just noting it that, okay, from the back of my mind, you know that you want to change the roof and you know that you need more than 50,000. And what would you have to do in order for you to do that? I would have to get more. I will have to get brand sponsorships, brand collaborations. That way, that money can then be allocated towards that activity. The other stuff is something that we can talk about. Now, let us get into the goals that I actually I'm going to be sharing with you each quarter as we are going through the year. The other one, the one that I just spoken about, when it does happen, I'll definitely share with you guys to say, okay, this is how far I've went with that, and now it is go time. So the first goal that I have here, it is to max out my tax-free account. As you know, that I've given myself since 2 years ago that I decided that every year I want to max out my tax-free account. Every year I want to make that a priority, that when I get my bonus, I max out my tax-free account. So that has already given you an answer in terms of how I'm planning to do this. Now the target date here is in May. So that means that the second quarter is when I'm going to be working towards this part of my goal. So what I normally do is that I take my bonus from work and I put that towards my tax-free account, and that way it allows me to max it out outright, and I don't have to worry about it per month in terms of topping up and so forth. So that is my plan for 2025. It is to max out my tax-free account, and that is 36,000, and that is on where EasyEquities. And then the second one is I want to top up my emergency fund. Now, for anyone who is new here who do not know, I currently have my emergency fund that I've been saving towards for a few years now, like I think about 2 years now, and I've been keeping that. I keep that on Frank Group, and I've been consistent in terms of topping up on my emergency fund. My goal in 2024 was to end the year with 100,000, and that didn't happen because of the expenses that came up along the end of the year. It actually delayed my progress in terms of achieving the 100,000 on my emergency fund. So I still want to achieve 100,000 on my emergency fund, but I want to top it up in 2025. So my goal is to have 160 by the end of 2025 on my emergency fund. Currently, we're sitting on 85,000 on my emergency fund under Frank Group, and now I want to take it up to 160,000. When we get to 160,000, that is it. I'm not topping up more. I'm not putting up more. I'm not adding to more money and so forth. I'm just not gonna do that, because I feel like 160,000 as an emergency fund is fine. It's more than fine. It's more than fine, honestly, because that for me will go just beyond 6 months of my living expenses, so that we see that there's some progress that we're making. What we are going to do now is just going to shift quickly. We're going to go over to my Frank app, because I told you just now that that is where I'm investing and saving for my emergency fund. Now, the way that I've split my emergency fund, let's just go on my Frank app. I'm going to log in. So we are going to do a deposit. I would have loved to say in January 2025, I get to 100,000, but guys, the responsibilities I have and the things that are going on, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm currently on my app right now. I'm going to put it here. So I have my emergency fund split in two. Ne? The first one here, yeah, 74,280 is my emergency fund that is invested on the money market, Cetrus 40 and the S&P 500. Ne? And then I've got my savings account emergency fund. Ne? This is just savings account at a rate of 7%. And that is because I've got a pro account, by the way. So that is why I have about 7% on there. So far, the interest that I've earned is about 85 rands. And then the interest that I've earned in just leading up to the month, because every month it accumulates, the interest calculated in real time. So every time you log into your account, you'll be able to see the changes. The changes happen live. Like it just went up from 200 there at the end, it went up to it's now 204. That's how the interest is calculated on this platform, which is something that I love and can be very motivating. So I currently have 11,785 and 90 cents here on my emergency fund for the savings. Now the savings, the reason why I decided to split it is so that on the savings one is where I access it, be it that I actually do need money. So my goal is to have 30,000 here. I want to do a deposit because I haven't done a deposit in a while here. So I'm going to say deposit. I'm going to click on deposit. Okay. And I'm going to say instant via EFT. And then I'm going to put, how much are we on? I think we're on 86,000. So I'm going to put 5,000. I wanted to put 10,000, but I'm going to put 5,000 for now. And then when I get my payment from YouTube, I'm going to add. Okay, let's actually say 6,500. That way I know that I only have to add 3.5 from YouTube, and then the rest of the money from YouTube I can allocate to my other expenses for the month. Okay, so we're going to put 6.5 once off, and then that's a hefty fee. Whew. Okay, here's what we are going to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to log off right here. I'm not even going to do this deposit, 50 rands, because it's instant, you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to FNB, but I'm going to go to my app and then I'm going to say pay. I'm going to do the payment from my bank to Frank Group so that I do not incur as much fees, ne? Because 50 rand is quite high. So I'm gonna go look for Frank Investment. There we go. That's my reference number, and then I'm going to put 6,500. If you do a deposit like this on Frank, where you go to your bank and you do the deposit towards your Frank app, it doesn't appear immediately. Instead, it actually appears like 2 days after or 3 days after. So you do have to be patient. But if you do the other one that I just showed you that I ran away from because of the fees, that one will appear immediately. So because of the fees, I'm just not going to do that one. We're going to do this one. You're about to pay 6,500 from your account to Frank Group, and there's my reference. Please confirm. I'm confirming. Finish. There we go. We just paid 6,500 towards my emergency fund on Frank Group. So this is going to take me to 90 something thousand. It's going to take me to 92,500 and something, which is good. Then when I get my payment from YouTube, I'm going to put the rest of the money, which is not going to take us to 100,000, but it'll take us very close to 100,000, which is a good thing, because then we'll know that, okay, we'll just have to work towards the 60,000, which I'm giving myself a challenge that in the first quarter, I want to at least make sure that I am putting away more than 40,000 towards my emergency fund. Now, when I look at my budget per month, it's going to be steep, but I'm hoping and I'm praying that things are just going to go well financially, for my business, YouTube as well. Then it's going to allow me to be able to fast track this goal as quickly as possible. I want to get to 160 as quickly as possible, actually, so that I can focus on other goals. If you want to start your investment journey and you do not have the Frank app yet, I do have my unique code, which is an affiliate link code, and it's always linked on the description down below. Please make sure that you use my unique link. That way, when you do download and you set up your account and you do your first deposits and so forth, it does indicate to Frank that you came to them, you sign up with them because of me. And that's also going to help me, in the future as well, in terms of getting a brand collaboration with the company, because if I have more people signing up using my unique link, it shows that people are interested in the platform, and they get interested about the platform because of me and me sharing my journey on how I'm using the platform, because that opens the doors for me in terms of getting those brand collaborations that will help me to achieve the goal of changing the roof at home this year, you guys. So please help me work towards that using my unique link from Frank, which is linked on the description down below, and that way you can start your investment journey. So that is my second goal, and I'm going to be working on this on first quarter. And then my third goal is to build a 2-bedroom at home. Now, the reason why I want a 2-bedroom home is because I never shared what it looks like back at home at the rural areas in Tundulu. I've got a home in the township. That's where the roof that I want to change is at. And then there's the home, my mother's home, where she was born and raised and so forth. I called it my home because she never finished her ceremonies, and so traditionally we still belong to her side of the family, so everything that I do when it comes to my customs, traditions that I have to do, even though I'm called Unqumalo, I still have to do it on the side of Kwanene, on my mother's side. I need to build a house, not a big house, but I just need to do a flatty for anyone who's cases, and you know what I'm talking about. 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom flats. I want to do a 2-bedroom flat that we can put beds on, but also it will allow me to be able to store my things. So when I'm buying blankets, pots, amatansi, all of these things that I'm going to need when I start going to Wembes and all that stuff, I want to collect those things and store them there and know that, okay, I've got my place at home on my mother's side where all of my things are sitting and they're secured there. But also it's going to help us during the ceremonies, when I invite my friends over and we come also at home, that we'll have an ideal place that we can just lay our heads on. And that's going to cost me I'm putting a budget of 40,000. It might cost me more, but I'm hoping that it won't go over 40,000. Now, things in the rural areas are not expensive, like from bricks to getting someone who's going to build for you and so forth. They're not expensive. I just want to make sure that I get a competent person. That is something that I want to do this year, because I need to mule this year. So that has to be done this year. So my target there is to say second quarter, I must have saved this much and I must have started raising the walls. In terms of finishing the house, it doesn't have to be finished at the same time, but at least by June this year, during winter time, those walls should be up. The only thing that should be left is just the roofing. Now, I'm not going to be tiling this place. I'm not going to be tiling this house. I'm not going to be doing a lot. I want to raise the walls, put the roof, cement the walls. And then in terms of the floor, guys, I'll just get a guy who will do a very smooth flooring, because they are able to do that, the smooth ones. And then I'm going to do the stick-on tiles. I'll do the stick-on tiles. We can do that. I've done that at home back when we did not have money to do the proper tiles, so I know how to do those. So we'll just do the stick-ons so that we are able to have good flooring, like okay flooring. So that is my plan, you guys. That is my plan. I need 40,000 for this. And then my fourth goal is to save for umemulo nomkhehlo. Now, when you do not know, umemulo is when your family side do that ukukhulisa. So that one has never been done for me. And even though I have a child now, but when you're going to get married, in most families, they'll say, we need you to first umule qala before you can do umkhehlo, before we can, proceed with all other things. So I need to do umemulo. I would love to do umemulo this year. And so that's going to cost a lot of money, you know, you guys. But knowing where I come from, you guys, and my background, and, you know, the fact that I do not come from much, I do not come from much at all. I know that if I want my things to happen, I actually have to be the one that actively saves and put money and say, here's what I've done so far. Can we proceed now? So I want to save up for umemulo nomkhehlo. Umkhehlo is when the family side where I'm going to get married to, they come and do that ceremony for me. So that part, they will take care of majority of those things. But I know that when it comes to the day, not the deco, you know, Makaya, we don't do that. Like, we tried to do it on my last ceremony. Remember that video that I posted in December where we did that deco and all the stuff? It ended up being not used. Yeah, when I put, especially where I come from, we do not care about deco because the way that we eat is also different. Omalume, abantu amadoda, they don't eat with abafazi. Yona say abafazi bantu besifazane. So mama bahlala bodwa, baba bahlala bodwa, and then intombi they also sit alone. So in different rooms or different houses. So it does not make sense to then have deco in the rural areas. And when I say rural areas, guys, I mean deep rural areas. Where I come from, it's deep rural areas. So I learned my lesson that I'm not going to spend money on any deco, but I do need to spend my money on a lot of alcohol. I do need to spend my money on a lot of alcohol because those people drink and they like good stuff. So I want to save for these ceremonies. I want to save 40,000, and I know it's a lot. But on this 40,000, I'm also counting the money for me to hire a car because every time I go home, I have to hire a car. So for me to do that, I need to have good money. So I already sat down and looked at what would be the cost, the individual cost, hiring of the car, the cow, the alcohol, the food, and the drinks. How much would that be? And I realized that, okay, 40,000 is going to be enough. My goal will be to make sure that I am spending less than 40,000. Whatever that I'm doing, I'm being strict to say, okay, this one, if the cow here in this plaza is costing me 12,000, we can go to another one, find a cheaper one. Maybe let's say this one cost 11,000 or 10,500. That would be my strategy. When I'm looking for a car, I will also be very practical to say, this is the type of car that I'm looking for, but then this is how much I'm willing to spend. Now, last time when I went home, I booked my car through Avis, and the service there was impeccable. Yeah, Nella, if you are watching this, thank you so much for the guys that you have at Avis. Because the service that I received there was impeccable. I hired a car, which was also a mini SUV, but then when I got there, they upgraded me. So it was very nice. Like, I enjoyed my holidays because the car was so high enough that driving it Elalini was so nice and very easy. That is one of my goals. That is the fourth goal, 40,000 on this one as well. I want to have this by November because I would like the event to also happen around November. Yeah, around the same time that things happened last year, I'd like for them to happen around the time or December. The last one that we want to do as a family now is we want to save for holidays. Now, when I say family, I'm talking of my family right now, which is my partner and my daughter. So we decided that we like holidays. We like going away as a family. We enjoy it. But in most cases, it's always spontaneous, and we love that. It's always spontaneous. But when it comes to our finances, because we don't plan for it, it ends up messing up with our finances. So what we decided to do is to say, let us put away money. Both of us, we're going to put it on this one account, and we're going to be using Frank Group for this because it's going to be perfect. I told my partner that we're just going to create a shared goal under Frank Group, and then we are going to be putting away 1,000 each and every month, both of us. This way, we want to make sure that we always have a fund of money, of resources that we can tap into when we feel spontaneous that we want to go somewhere, we want to go to Cape Town, want to go anywhere. We know that we've got this fund. So we decided that let's do that. We're not people that like to plan our holidays ahead of time to say we want to go here and what. No, we think about it now and we say, okay, maybe in the next week or 2 weeks we are going somewhere. and it makes it fun for us to be spontaneous like that, but also it helps us to actually make sure that it happens. Any holiday or things that are planned way in advance normally don't happen. So we found that for us it works when we say that, okay, in this right now we want to go away, then we plan for that. So we just want to make sure that we've got a running fund that we can tap into when that need arises, where we feel like we just want to be spontaneous and go away as a family. So I put here that, say for holiday, 12,000, and then when it's me and him now, then it will be double that. But I just need to make sure that I am doing my part as the other part of the family as well. So those are my 5 things that I want to work on this year, in terms of, let's say for instance, every time I'm doing my monthly resets, these are some of the things that I'm going to be speaking about and sharing with you on how are they going, and also going to be tracking, by the way. And I'm going to be breaking them down per quarter. So the first quarter I'm going to be working on my emergency fund, and then the second quarter I'm going to be working on my tax-free account along with saving for building. And then on the third quarter, I'm going to be working on the saving for umkehlo. And then the save for the holidays is something that is going to be happening each and every month, because that's the plan. Ne? So what I'm going to do now is I am going to take some time to go on my desk there and just update my tracker for my emergency fund here on my Evercent financial journal. Or also I'm going to set up my financial goals for the quarter. I'm going to put them down here because I haven't done that. But besides that, I've started using my journal and I've been enjoying it. Let us head on over to my desk. We're going to do that quickly, and then we're going to close off this video. I'm going to put a date first because that's what it asks you. So there's a date, amount, balance, interest earned, and then notes. So I am going to say the date today is the 18th 01 2025. Ne? So that's the date today. It is the 18th 01 2025, and then the amount of money that I put in, it is 6,500. Now, in terms of the balance, I am going to update the balance as soon as the money reflects. As you saw, as I told you, that when you're depositing from your bank to the Frank app, it takes 2 to 3 days for the money to process and show on your profile, on your account. So just be patient. So I'm going to check, I think around Tuesday it should be showing. Then I'm going to update here on how much it should be in terms of my balance, how much it is in terms of my balance. And then I'm also going to share, I'm also going to update the interest earned by then, in terms of how much interest am I sitting on. So here I already logged in here to say interest earned so far as of 15 January 2025 was 5,556 56 rands and 51 cents. So when I put the money for how much is the balance is now and how much is, I'm also going to put the interest. And then when I get another income from YouTube, I'm going to note the date that I'm going to be making the deposits, and then I'm going to note the amount, and then I'm going to note the balance, and then I'm going to note the interest. So what I'm trying to look for is to say, as I'm doing this deposits each and every time I'm logging the deposits, how much is my money increasing? Am I getting closer to my goal, which is the savings goal up here? Let me just correct that and just put 160,000. Okay, so we're going to see how far are we going, looking at the balance, that every time I'm doing a deposit, what is the change? Am I getting closer to this goal or am I not? So that is how I'm going to be using these right here. The action list is to say I must save, because I'm not investing this money that I'm putting towards my emergency fund, but rather I'm topping out on my savings goal. So I must save 10,000 on my emergency fund. Ne? My second action item is to save 1,000. Okay, so those are the 2 action items that I have right there. Thank you so much, fam, for watching up until now. If you're still watching, honestly, you are a gem. I appreciate you. And also don't forget to smash that like button, and I will see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. And also, sorry, share with me some of the things that you want to work on this year. Do you want to pay off a debt? Do you want to save towards something? Do you want to buy yourself a car? Do you want to buy yourself a house? What is it that you want to work on this year? Just share with us on the comment section. I think it's going to encourage each and every one of us. Now, I know that I haven't been good in terms of responding to comments, you guys. It's just been a lot, you guys. It's just been a lot, but I know that I'm going to do better. I'm going to challenge myself to do better in terms of responding and also just paying attention. I do read the comments, but then in terms of the time to respond, it becomes difficult, you know. Until I see you on the next one, please take care and stay safe. Bye.